one more time.
Hey, what's going on, Who That Nation? It is yours truly, TJ Jones, the host of the State of the Saints podcast, and welcome to the State of the Saints podcast live on YouTube. Thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you for spending your Friday night with yours truly. Good morning to those that are listening around the world. Thank you very much for tuning in as well. Got a good show lined up for you. Of course, tonight we're going to be talking about the two new additions to the New Orleans Saints organization and answering the question, will these two individuals make the roster? And also, I want to say to each and every one of you out there that checked out the interview earlier that I conducted with John DeShazer of NewOrleansSaints.com. Thank you very much. And if you have not, be sure to check it out. We talked for about 30 minutes, so it was a really good conversation. I want to thank once again Mr. John DeShazer for taking the time out just to be a part of the show. And coming up next week, I'm really excited about this as well. ESPN insider and New Orleans Saints reporter Mike Triplett. That's right. Mike Triplett will be on the show. You probably are familiar with Mike Triplett. If you look at ESPN articles that focus on New Orleans Saints online, 9 times out of 10, they were written by Mike Triplett. So we're going to be talking to Mike Triplett about the New Orleans Saints and also just getting some inside scoop on the team, man. So be sure you check that out next week, man. Big things are coming for the State of the Saints podcast. And I just have to say, I wouldn't have done it without each and every one of you, all of your love and your support and the countless videos that you all viewed and shared. So this is a reflection of everything that you guys have done to help this channel be as successful as it has been. So thank you all very much from the bottom of my heart, real talk. So thank y'all. But let's go ahead and talk about the two new additions to the New Orleans Saints. We have linebacker Nigel Bradham from the Philadelphia Eagles, and we also have wide receiver Bennie Fowler, who played most of his career with the Denver Broncos and a couple years with the New York Football Giants. And we're going to be answering the question, will these two guys make the team? But before I get started, I want to acknowledge some of the people that I see inside of the chat here. I see Tired Eyes. I see Sheets. Mark is here. Joe. Dwayne is in the house. We got Casual Dex. Donovan, thank you all for checking out the podcast. Thank you very much for spending your Friday with yours truly. But Nigel Browner, we'll start with him, man. He's a linebacker. He came from the Philadelphia Eagles. He was a part of the Philadelphia Eagles Super Bowl championship team. He was a linebacker, man, for the last 3 years, averaged about 90-plus tackles a year, which is pretty incredible, man. I mean, he was one of those bright spots for Jim Schwartz's defense. The Eagles end up letting him go. I think he was supposed to get about $8 million from the Philadelphia Eagles, and they decided to cut him, and they saved about $4.2 million in the process. Nigel Bradham is one of those guys that's a real tough linebacker. He's not one of those guys that just stand out in the crowd or anything like that, but he is one of those short-handed linebackers, the ones that, you know what I'm saying, that you can count on in tough situations, the one that can bring the running back and the tight end down to the ground. He doesn't have any issues when it comes to tackling. And Jim Schwartz really relied on him to really make some plays. I mean, like I said, man, 90-plus tackles over the last 3 seasons. He was dealing with some injuries this past season, you know, that kind of stunned his growth. He came into the league. I think he was drafted, if I'm not mistaken, by the Buffalo Bills back in 2012 out of Florida State. This is a guy I feel like has a real strong chance of making a team. If it's not a part of the starting roster, it definitely could be on special teams. A lot of times guys that, they got to make the team or they need a spot, they have to get it through special teams. In order for you to try to, transition up the ranks, sometimes you have to, get that special team spot. And I feel like Nigel Bradham can make, the team. I look at the linebackers on the team. For the exception of Demario Davis, you really don't have a guarantee. You really don't have a guarantee at linebacker. You have Alex Anzalone and Kiko Alonso and Caden Ellis, but these guys have been injured. Caden Ellis was a rookie last season. He got hurt. He got put on IR. We know Kiko Alonso, he has a lot of talent, but he just can't stay healthy. He tore his ACL in January. So it's going to take him some time in order for him to get back. And Alex Anzalone, even though he splashes on the field, there's several occasions where he has to be out for a significant amount of time. So Nigel Bradham, if he can come in, man, and have a good training camp, there's a strong possibility he can be in the rotation. You have rookies like Zach Bond who still have to transition and have to, work his way up. The speed of the NFL is completely different from the speed in college. I'm pretty sure everybody knows that. But that he is going to have to go through some growing pains. And he's probably going to start off probably on third down situations because when he was at the University of Wisconsin, he did most of his damage with his hands on the ground. So it's probably for the first couple weeks of the season, you're probably going to be seeing Zach Bond in mostly NASCAR packages and rushing the quarterback until the Saints actually get him acclimated to the defense. He becomes a better defensive player. He gets a little bit more knowledgeable, and they probably just continuously, give him upticks on his reps. So Nigel Bradham, being a seasoned veteran, a guy that understands the X's and the O's and understands the speed of the game, there's a strong possibility he can be a part of the rotation. And we move on now to Bennie Fowler. Bennie Fowler, a wide receiver. He played 6 years for the Denver Broncos, and he played a couple years with the New York Football Giants. Not one of those guys, that you just hear about all the time. Of course, when you have wide receivers like Demaryius Thomas and you got Cortland, Sutton, and you got other guys out there, Lindsey. You got all those different players that are on the Denver Broncos team. You got guys that get lost in the shuttle like Bennie Fowler. Bennie Fowler was a guy who also played on special teams, for the Giants. And this is a guy that actually can come in, possibly, get a spot on special teams. I can't really see Bennie Fowler making a team, being a part of that rotation at wide receiver. The wide receiver positions on the New Orleans Saints team, you look at all of the guys that they actually have. You have Michael Thomas, you got Emmanuel Sanders, you got Traquan Smith, you got Emmanuel Butler, you got Deontay Harris, you got all of these guys that are fighting for a roster spot. So it's kind of hard for me to actually see Bennie Fowler actually fit in. Now, I'm not saying that there's not a possibility. There's still some question marks about a lot of the guys that I just named, for the exception of Michael Thomas and Emmanuel Sanders. We've been talking about Traquan Smith for years. This could be a make or break year for Traquan Smith. Emmanuel Butler. A lot of questions have been asked, like, why hasn't he made why hasn't he been on the field? The fact that he spent his entire, season last year, he didn't get an opportunity, and the Saints were actually getting guys off the street in order to come in. So there's a lot of unanswered questions about the wide receiver position. If Bennie Fowler can actually come in and make a splash and do some really good things, there's a strong possibility he can be a part of the rotation. That's not as far-fetched as people may think. It's going to be tough, man. It's going to be tough for a lot of guys, especially the fact that you have to take into account there are no preseason games. There's no way to look at guys to say that, okay, man, what will this guy do in real time? What would he do against the opposition? The only thing that the Saints can go off of is how well a guy can do in practice. And everybody knows, just because you do well in practice does not mean that that's going to, transition to the field. We heard a lot of things in the past. People like Adrian Ayrton, people like Brandon Coleman, people like Emmanuel Butler, guys that look good in practice, dominate in practice, but when they get on the field, they're about as quiet as a church mouse. So we got to make sure that we have the right 53 in place, and it's not just guys that can do well on the practice field. You got to be guys that can actually transition to the field, make some plays. So Bennie Fowler, a guy that's a seasoned veteran, a guy that's hungry, and you have a great opportunity to play in an offense where you can actually eat. So I want to see if Bennie Fowler can do some things with the New Orleans Saints. It's going to be a very tough time for him. I mean, it's going to be very tough, him going uphill, but it doesn't mean that he can't make it to the top of the hill. So those are the two guys, the linebacker Nigel Bradham and wide receiver Bennie Fowler, now members of the New Orleans Saints. So going to open the floor to you all and ask you all the question. What do you think about these two new additions? Do you see these guys making the team? So once again, want to thank everybody for tuning in. Let's answer some questions from the Who Dat Nation, man. Man, you putting in that work. Thanks a lot. James, thank you very much, man. I appreciate it, man. But once again, I could not have done this without you all. I don't take any credit for that, man. I mean, the reason why the State of the Saints podcast is starting to hit its stride is because of you all. People like Jared Poor, people like King Arthur, people like Dwayne, people like I Be Ripping Them, Iceman T, Casual Dex. I mean, people like that, man. You know what I'm saying? And so many others. You know what I'm saying? That I mean, if I fail to mention your name, I apologize. But there are so many people that are always, looking out for the channel. I mean, Casual Dex always hitting me up like all the time, man. When you gonna do a show? Prime Time just hit me up, man, showing love. So you all are the reason why this show is successful, man. I mean, I never forget that, man. Like, ain't no big league over here. I'll never forget the people that been watching this show from the start and really been supporting this show, man. You all are the reason why the State of the Saints podcast is hitting its stride. So thank y'all, man. I really appreciate it. And I can't forget about my guy, Josh and Jesus, man. Can't forget about him either. Let's see. Mike Triplett, thank you very much for the $2. He says, you best roll out the red carpet for me, fool. Well, I'll do my best, Mike. I appreciate you, trying to be, I won't say trying, but being a part of the show. I appreciate that. Thank you. Matthew says, how much do you think Shady has left in the tank, and how well do you think he will fit into their offense? Well, that's a very good question, Matthew. And I'm going to say this. I think that Shady McCoy, that was a very interesting pickup by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and I'm going to tell you why. And first off, I want to say I completely understand why they signed him. That's right. I do. I'm not buying into this whole he ain't got that much left in the tank. He old, he washed up. Look, I'm not buying it. It's very, very simple, folks. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, even though they got Tom Brady, and yes, they spent their first round draft pick on the offensive lineman, there's still some holes that need to be filled on the offensive line. This offensive line still isn't one of the best. And you have somebody like LeSean McCoy, a guy that's extremely elusive, a guy that can make people miss. That is a guy that can be beneficial to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers while they're trying to, fix their offensive line. You have a guy that can run between the tackles, and also if an offensive lineman just so happens to miss a block, he can make that defensive end miss and maybe pick up a few extra yards for a first down. So I understand why they went out here and got Shady McCoy. It makes a lot of sense. I do feel like he has something left in the tank. I don't know how much. I mean, he is in his 30s now. And, the fact that he's had some injuries when he was playing for Buffalo, for the last couple of years. And then he made a stop in Kansas City with his former coach, Andy Reid. He got a Super Bowl ring in the process. So, a lot of unanswered questions, man. The question is, how hungry is LeSean McCoy? I mean, you have a very respectable career. On top of that, you got a Super Bowl ring, something that a lot of people have been chasing and inspired to do. So the question is, how hungry is Shady McCoy? So he has something left in the tank. I don't know how much. And I understand why the Tampa Bay Buccaneers got him, because their offensive line is not where it needs to be just yet. They're trying to get there, but with Shady McCoy being as elusive as he is, it'll be beneficial to them. So thank you, Matthew, for the question. Casual Dex says, I think adding Nigel to the linebacker core is an A+ move. Yeah, I agree, Casual Dex. Like I said, this is a guy right here He reminds me a lot of AJ Klein. You know what I'm saying? AJ Klein was one of those guys, not going to wow you with his speed, but he's a really smart linebacker that can make the tackle. He's going to put you down on the ground. And, you know what I'm saying, he can do some really good things as well, man. He's forced some fumbles. He caused some interceptions throughout his career. And also, you know, he has he has like a knack of getting to the quarterback when he's sent on blitzes. So Nigel Bradham is one of those guys that definitely can make the Saints team. The Saints linebacker core is probably one of the weakest spots of the team, believe it or not, on a roster that's pretty strong and on paper, you know, ranked as one of the best rosters in football. Linebackers just needs a little bit of sprucing up, and I feel like Nigel Bradham can be one of those guys that can help the linebacker room and also help on Sunday. So that's a good pickup by the Saints. Let's see. What's up? I'll be ripping them, man. What's going on? Shots out from Dwayne right there. We got hating ass fools. So if you ever get rich doing this, you owe me, fool. Man, look, check this out, man. Look, I don't do this for money. You know what I'm saying? I tell people all the time, you know, I appreciate donations. I really do. But I don't do this for money, man. I do this because I love talking about the New Orleans Saints. I do this because I'm passionate, man. I love doing broadcasting. You know, just something that's in my heart, man. And I think that the passion that I have is one of the reasons that keep me, you know, going forward doing the show. So I ain't trying to be rich or anything like that, man. I'm just trying to do something that I love to do, and that's talk about the Saints. So, but you know, if it's just so happened to get that way in the process, you know what I'm saying, I would thank God, you know what I'm saying. But at the same time, you know, that's not what I'm doing it for. I do it because I love it. And I love you guys too, man. Casual Deck said, I think, I already read that one. Let's see, Jerry. State of the Saints podcast, TJ Jones, the host. That's right. What's going on, Jerry? Appreciate you checking in. We got Ronald. Yeah, I agree with you on that. We need some quality backup players. Yeah, Ronald, thank you very much, man. Ronald, not used to seeing you in the chat, man. So welcome, man. Welcome to the State of the Saints podcast. Thank you for your statement there. I do believe they need some depth, man. They need some quality backups at the linebacker position as well as in the secondary. Now, this is a topic that we always and often talk about. Is the fact that the Saints need depth at the linebackers in the secondary. So I like the fact that they're trying to add to the linebacking corps, but I still feel like they need to add to the secondary. The secondary is still a little thin, and they can't really afford to get any injuries. So hopefully they can go out here and address some of the secondary issues they are dealing with as well, and maybe add one more linebacker. At least bring one to camp. You know, at least one more. State of the Saints podcast. Love the new guys we signed Thursday. Yeah, man. I like Nigel Bradham, Bennie Fowler. I watched him play a couple times in Denver, but it's gonna be tough for him to make the team. Man, I'm just gonna be honest. It's gonna be tough. Fowler won't make the team. Terrence, I'm kind of steering that way, my friend. I'm kind of steering that way myself. It's tough, man. It's gonna be tough for him to make that team. It is going to be tough for him to make the New Orleans Saints roster, man. But if he go out there and he perform, man, I mean, like I said, there's so many question marks from these wide receivers, man. It's not a guarantee that Traquan Smith is going to be a number 3, Butler is going to be a number 3, or Harris is going to be a number 3. Like, you don't know. I mean, if it just takes one guy to have a really big camp and really make a splash. You know what I'm saying? It might be Lil Jordan Humphrey. You know, it's a person I didn't name. It could be Marquise Callaway. It can be Jawan Johnson. It can be so many other guys that can make this roster. It's about who's hungry. Who's hungry? You know what I'm saying? Like, that third roster spot is up for grabs, man. No doubt about that. Great interview earlier. Boxing Profits, thank you so much, man. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate that. And I'm sorry I had a little technical difficulties towards the end. I don't know exactly what that was all about, but I appreciate you guys for kind of sticking in there and and listening to the whole entire interview, man. I apologize for that. We'll clean that up next time. Get y'all the best quality possible. Anna says, "What up, guys? What's going on, Anna? Thank you very much for checking in. Appreciate that. She on Facebook. Thank you, Anna. First time I've seen your name come across the screen as well, so welcome." We got Michael says, who that? What's going on, Mike? Let's see. Dwayne Randolph says, can I call in so we can talk about my farts? Dwayne Randolph, I'm not doing any phone calls until the season starts. That's when we're gonna bring back the phone calls, man. That's when we're gonna bring them back. We're gonna be taking calls and stuff like that, and I'm gonna be answering questions. So be on the lookout for that. That's coming back really soon. At the start of the season in September, the phone line is gonna be wide open, man. The phone line is gonna be wide open, especially after every Saints game. It's gonna be wide open. So y'all can call in, chime in. Let me know what y'all think, man. We're going to have some fun this season, man. We're going to have some fun. We're going to make the State of the Saints podcast one of the best pre- and post-game shows on YouTube and everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Like, for real. We're going to have some fun. Yeah, I think so too. But Brady is just one man, and they still have a lot of holes to fill on the O-line. I absolutely agree, Ronald. That's a good point. And that's why I feel like they got Shady McCoy. Like I said, because he's so elusive, he can make guys miss. Usually, like when teams have offensive line issues, they normally have like a running back that's a big bruising running back that can kind of break tackles, or they get a guy that's like elusive, like a Barry Sanders type guy. So LaShawn McCoy fills that void. So that's probably why they got him, and he's probably the best fit for them. I'm still mad at PJ Williams thing. I don't understand it. I just don't. I think you're just talking about PJ Williams being a part of the Saints, signing him back again. I really don't understand it either. I don't get it. But in a way, I do, I guess, when I think about it. Maybe it has a lot to do with what's going on in the world with COVID-19. The fact that the Saints knew that there weren't going to be OTA and mini camps, and if you was to cut somebody like PJ Williams, you'll have to bring another guy in, and then you'll have to deal with chemistry. Then you have to deal with a guy knowing a playbook, and then you have to, I don't know. I guess that's probably what they were thinking. The reason why they brought him back. In hindsight, it looks like a good idea. Man, PJ Williams, he's not the best cornerback in the world. I think we all can agree with that, but he is a pretty good tackler for a cornerback, and he can guard the slot. You know what I'm saying? You can't just put him on the outside. When you put him on the outside, he is a liability. But when he's on the inside, he can kind of bully those smaller wide receivers, and he can make tackles. But I really feel like the Saints need to do him a favor and save his career and turn him into a safety. I think they did the same thing with Malcolm Jenkins. Malcolm Jenkins' first year, he was a corner, and the Saints realized he didn't have the speed that corners need to possess, so they moved him to safety, and he's been there for the duration of his career. So I feel like the same thing needs to happen with PJ Williams. PJ Williams is not that fast, but he is a short tackler. He's a better tackler than Marcus Williams at this stage, so why not make him a safety? Maybe switch him with C.J. Gardner-Johnson, who is really good at being a nickel, and maybe you'll have yourself some success, man. He looked really good at safety when Von Bell and Marcus Williams went down late in the season. So why not give him an opportunity to save his career by moving to safety? I really don't know. You did an awesome job with our guest, John DeShazer. I was nervous that you would run out of questions. Always take a glance at the chat if you get stuck. I wasn't gonna run out of questions, man. Hey, that's one thing I was not gonna do. I wasn't gonna run out of questions. Like I knew for a fact that I wasn't gonna run out of questions. You know what I'm saying? I kind of prep for that kind of stuff. And for anybody that's trying to do a podcast and doing interviews, I'm gonna give you a little bit of advice. All right. Always have more questions than what you're gonna ask. That's my best advice to you. Okay. Always have more questions than you want to ask. Okay. So if you say I want to ask 10 questions, at least have about 13 or 14. You know why? Because they might end up answering the question that you're going to ask them next, and they're going to sound redundant. So always have extra questions on deck, and always, think about a time frame in which you want to start and finish your interviews. Okay. So if you want to do 15 minutes, make sure that, you have about 15 minutes worth of questions. Okay. mostly 20. Have 20 minutes worth of questions. You always want to have 5 minutes more of questions than you need to have. So that's just a little advice. I wasn't gonna run out of questions, Dwayne. Like for real, I wouldn't. And always try to end with something like, like a softball question or something like that. Like if you notice, like at the end, I talked about Cam Jordan, and I talked about the interview that went viral that him and Cam Jordan had. You know what I'm saying? Like I wasn't really going to ask him that question, but when he started talking about Cam Jordan, it popped in my head, and I was just like, okay, let me ask him this. But always, like try to lighten the load and remember, like have a conversation. Don't be so focused on your questions. Okay. So don't be so focused on them. Like, don't worry about answering the next question. You know what I'm saying? Like when you write down your questions, make sure you kind of familiarize yourself with them so you can have a more comfortable conversation. Because if you don't, then you're going to end up missing something that they may have said, and you might end up repeating it or something. So just a little advice for everybody out there that might be starting a podcast or people that might want to interview somebody one day. Guys can play big if they apply themselves. Yeah, that's true. That is true. Awesome job. Not all snob. I can fill in the blank, Dwayne. I know what you were saying. Need leadership. Mark, I need you to elaborate on that one, man. What do you mean by need leadership? I need you to elaborate. Can you explain that to me? What are you saying? Need leadership on offense, defense, special team, coaching? I mean, that's such a wide range statement right there. So make sure you clarify that for me, my friend. Joe says, show right, TJ. We never another outside linebacker. I assume you mean that we never, you know what I'm saying? Like PJ don't need to be an outside cornerback. Okay. So yeah, he don't need to be an outside cornerback at all. I guess you're talking about PJ. I agree with that. PJ doesn't belong nowhere near that. Okay. If he is anywhere near if he anywhere near the outside, they need to bring him inside. TJ's girlfriend, thank you very much for the $5. Says looking at the overweight, broke out of shape losers in this chat make me glad I ended up with TJ. Well, man, look, man, we ain't about to do that, man. Look, I'm happy. My girl is happy with me. I'm happy that everybody here is a part of this show, man. You know what I'm saying? Like God made us all different. You know what I'm saying? Eric, we got big people, small people, muscular people, whatever. I'm thankful for everybody, man. So, I'm thankful for my girlfriend, you know what I'm saying, with my soon-to-be wife and getting married next Sunday. So, man, I'm just excited about that. You know what I'm saying? So I love everybody. Yes, for linebackers, no for wide receivers. We low-key great at wide receiver. I agree with that. Boxing, I agree with that. Jermaine, man, my frat brother, man. Shouts out to Iota Phi Theta, man. He donated $4. Thank you very much, Jermaine. I appreciate that, man. That's my guy right there, man. One of the most positive brothers I've ever seen in my entire life, man. Like, man, I promise you, man, I look at this guy's Instagram every day, man. Just a breath of fresh air, man. Such a positive guy. Like, he makes deliveries for a living, man. He always videoing like places he stopped at to pick things up for people, man. He taking pictures with people at the ice cream shop. But he always has something positive and you know what I'm saying, and uplifting to say or something that he posting, man. So, man, much love to you, Jermaine, man. I miss hanging out with you. I remember, you going to Mississippi State and stuff like that. I remember us going, USM, going to Southern Miss and, you know what I'm saying, going out there to Hattiesburg and stuff like that, hanging out with y'all, man. Shouts out to BJ. I mean, those were some fun times right there, man. And, I miss those times, man. And I'm glad things are going good for you, man. You're a positive brother. Joe says, I like the linebackers. Yeah, I like the linebackers too, Joe. I like Nigel Bradham in the linebacker rotation. Me too, Ricky. I think that's the best move the Saints that made. I'll say the second best move they made this offseason. The second best. Even better than Malcolm Jenkins, believe it or not. If Kiko stay healthy, this man is a beast. Yeah, I agree with that. He don't miss tackles, plus he aggressive. Yep. Yeah, he is a dog. It's just the fact, man, all these ACL tears and stuff like that, that's concerning right there, man, because that's the same thing that kept Haloi Kakaha out of football, man. He had 2 ACL tears in college, and he just couldn't stay healthy in the pros. Just got here. Bennie Fowler could be that fourth receiver. I watched him in Denver, and he would be a good fourth receiver. Ray, I mean, he has an uphill battle, man. He could be a fourth receiver, but man, you got to come in. You got to put that work in. You got to put that work in, man. If you don't put that work in, then he ain't gonna make the team. It's gonna be tough, man. I mean, coming in late, not knowing the playbook, tough, man. Gonna be tough. I already read that. That was a big time interview. I had y'all on the speaker at my job. Man, Kimo, I appreciate that, man. Thank you. You know, it was a big time interview for me. You know what I'm saying? Maybe like Mr. DeShazer, but it definitely was for me, man. But I'm just glad he was able to do it, man. And man, such a kind guy. You know, I reached out to him, and you know, he said, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, he didn't have to do that. You know, and I'm so blessed. You know what I'm saying? Like, I am so blessed that, you know, they got people like that in the world, man, that you can reach out to. Ain't like, oh man, you know what I'm saying, I'm working with the Saints, I ain't got no time for no lowly podcast. You know what I'm saying? Like, really reached out to me, emailed me, you know, and it was, you know, interacting with me throughout the week and stuff. Like, man, that's great. You know what I'm saying? Also, Mr. Triplett too, Mike Triplett. You know, I reached out to him. He DM'd me, you know what I'm saying, and he said we can set something up. So, man, I mean, man, I'm just blessed, yo. You know what I'm saying? I'm blessed that, you know, they were nice enough to do those things. We were blessed, you know what I'm saying, to have the opportunity to actually, you know, have some people that's on the inside, you know, actually interact with these players every single day. So, that's great. Yeah, I think so too. But Brady has just already read that one. A couple of these I already read. I had to go back up because, you know, I didn't want to miss nobody. Guys can play big if they apply themselves. I agree with that. I already read that. Yeah, let me scroll down a little bit. I'm seeing the same ones. TJ, do you think are we going to sign Alvin Kamara? Jay Terrell, absolutely. That's not like Jay, you know what I'm saying? Like, I appreciate the question, but I feel like that's not even a question. You know, like you signed Alvin Kamara, man. He's such a great player. He is such a great player, man. Like, I just feel like there will be a huge void if the Saints allow him to leave, which I don't think that's going to happen. They're going to give him his money. Like, there's no doubt in my mind that Alvin Kamara isn't going to get paid. Like, there's not a doubt in my mind. This guy's one of the best running backs in football, and he does so many things for the Saints, and he's such a weapon. So they definitely going to pay him, man. I don't know how much, but the fact that I haven't heard him holding out, he showed up to training camp on time, tells me everything I need to know. It seems like the Saints are going to sign this guy. No, the Saints didn't re-sign him. They re-signed P.J. Williams instead. He said, didn't Eli Apple get traded? Nah, they actually, the Saints let him walk. He played for Carolina now. That $2 comment was, I'll be ripping him. He hacked my name. Oh man, you and I'll be ripping them, be going at it, man. It's crazy. Even with PJ moving to safety, he would still be the fourth best safety on the team. Well, that is true, Ray, but it's about saving guys' careers at this point, and it's also about utilizing guys in the best way possible. You know, like, he is a better safety, or he would be a better safety than he would corner. You know, like, everybody know this, man. If you've been following football, you know a safety is nothing but a slower quarterback. You know what I'm saying? They're the last line of defense. There's a reason why they play so far back, because it's like, you know, it's like giving them a head start. You know, in case somebody, you know, breaks past a cornerback, it gives them opportunity to be a little bit further back to be able to go at that wide receiver. PJ is not that fast. I mean, I don't think I'm telling anybody something they don't already know already. He is a guy that's a good tackler. He's a guy that's physical. And I feel like if he wants to save his career, he might want to move to safety. I mean, plain and simple. We've seen this before. we see players that's not that fast end up moving a safety and it saved their career. It adds on years. I'm not comparing him or putting him in the same category as this dude. But it happened with Charles Woodson. Charles Woodson did it, right? So Charles Woodson, moved from cornerback to safety with the Green Bay Packers. And, man, he was one of the best safeties in football. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes, man, you got to make that transition in order to save your career. It's funny. I'm thinking about this, man. I was looking at Undisputed, and Reggie Bush was on there. And Reggie Bush was talking about how he wished, like, later in his career, around year 8, he would have moved to slot receiver. He said he probably would have added on to his career if he would have became a slot receiver, which I agree. Sometimes, like, if you want to stay in the league, sometimes you got to make those sacrifices. I mean, we even seen it with Larry Fitzgerald. Larry Fitzgerald running a 4.3, 4.4 coming out of Pittsburgh all those years with Arizona. He started to slow down and stuff like that. And then all of a sudden, he started to play in the slot. And when he played in the slot, man, it added about 6 or 7 more years of his career. So sometimes, man, you got to make those sacrifices if you want to continue to have success or continue to even be in the NFL in general. You got to make that move. Let's see. He will have one great play and one horrible play every game. I disagree with that, Debo. I disagree with that because we only really be criticizing PJ Williams when he's on the outside. Like, that's just the truth. Like, if he's lined up on the outside, that's the only way we really criticize him. When he's on the inside, man, he does a really good job. He does a good job guarding those tight ends and running backs, man, and slot receivers. He does do a good job on that. I will give him credit for that. He's just not that good when it comes to playing on the outside. And I do feel like he's a liability if you put the best, like if teams do what the Saints do with Michael Thomas, okay, if you put your best receiver on in a slot, then you might have some problems. But most teams don't do that, what the Saints do. If they have a slot receiver, that slot receiver's primary position is in the slot. They don't move him to the outside. They don't try to move the wide receiver, the best number 1 receiver, into the inside to take advantage of a PJ Williams matchup. So he does do good on the inside, but on the outside, no, sir. No, sir. I ain't feeling it at all. At all. Let's see. Josh and Jesus, what's going on, man? Dwayne, we all know, man, that just I be clowning like he do. Sergeant AR-10 says, "Poo that dirty birds in the building." So, okay, we got Sergeant AR-10 up in here, man. Shouts out to you, man. Thank you for being a part of the State of the Saints, like always. Appreciate the love, brother. Yeah, y'all have at it, man. Y'all, yeah. I mean, there's a good reason why your name's Sergeant, because you definitely be going to war in the chat every time you show up. Definitely be a war, man. Hey TJ, do you think we should lock AK-41 in for a long haul, like Kansas City did with Mahomes? No. Ronald, as much as I like Alvin Kamara and as much as I feel like he's gonna be a mainstay with the New Orleans Saints, you don't use running backs like you do quarterbacks. Patrick Mahomes plays at a primary position. You know what I'm saying? The top key position. The quarterback position. The quarterback is the most important position on the field, in my opinion, in the left tackle, the one that protects him. If you don't have a good quarterback, it will set your franchise back for years. If you have a good quarterback, you want to keep him around. When it comes to running backs, it is an expendable position, and it's one of those positions that over a course of like 3 to 4 years, that is your prime. You know what I'm saying? Like the first, 3 or 4 years of your career, that's your prime. And, things happen. You get ankle injuries, you get knee injuries, and, you start slowing down. So you do not do the same thing that the Kansas City Chiefs did with Patrick Mahomes, because the running back position, is an expendable position. But but the quarterback is not an expendable position. If you don't have a good quarterback, you're not going anywhere. You're not going to be successful, and you're not going to win many games. I mean, that's just a fact. Oh man, we had so many comments came up since I just answered that question. I lost my spot. The Saints don't have an identity in the playoffs. I don't want to say they ain't got an identity, Iceman T, but that's the moment, man. That's the moment where everybody buckled down. For all my people that went to college, or even if you went, if you're in high school, man, that final exam is very, very important. The final exam is like in college, it's like, like half of your grade. If you fail that final, then you don't pass the class. So when teams are going to the playoffs, they buckle down, man. Like the film study, they paying attention to details, and coaches stay up all night long to figure out what you do best. And they put it into a package, man. They go back and they look at weeks of footage. They go back and look at even a couple years, you know what I'm saying? See how you're going to attack a certain defense or a certain offense. They pay attention to those things. So it's not the fact that, they don't have identity in the playoffs. It's the fact that teams, they focus and zoom in on their weaknesses and they capitalize on it. So maybe the Saints, don't do a real good job of it. Maybe it's the fact that people are uptight. I feel like the fact that they've been losing in the playoffs, the fact that, they've been losing in disappointing ways, man. I just feel like the coaching staff, Drew Brees, a lot of them people just uptight, man. Like they just need to calm down and chill out and not worry so much about making mistakes. If anything, that's their identity. You know what I'm saying? Like being shook, or being erratic, like that's their identity, but they need to shake that. Nigel is an upgrade over all the linebackers we have. I disagree with that because he is not an upgrade over Demario Davis. And I think even you, Debo, you will agree to that. Okay. Demario Davis is a first-team All-Pro. So unless he about to come in and be a first-team All-Pro, that's the only way he'll be an upgrade from Demario Davis. Now, if you want to say that, a couple more guys, he probably have a little bit better skill set then I'm with you on that. But he ain't better than Demario Davis. I ain't seen that yet. TJ, did you see the girlfriend super chat? IB is crazy. Not yeah, I saw that, man. I think I read that too, Josh. I read that one. Yeah, I read that one, man. He crazy. Phoebe says, I think Bennie wins Super Bowl 50 with Denver, so Emmanuel Sanders real cool. Yeah, they probably real close, man. They played for years together. So yeah. I mean, he's a Super Bowl champion, so that's a plus, man. 2 Super Bowl champions coming to the New Orleans Saints team, so they got that championship pedigree with them. Do you feel we still make a move for a corner? I still think they're incomplete, Chemo, and I think they still need to make a move for corner. I mean, at the cornerback position, there's still they're still thin, so I feel like they need to go out and probably sign somebody. It ain't got to be no big name, but at least somebody that can play the outside and inside, and that can be a part of the rotation. Man, TJ, you got to let us get in on the next interview. All right, man. All right, I promise you on that one. I made sure that I get some questions. You know what I'm saying? Like, just make sure if you have a question, just make sure that you send it to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I don't want to blindside them. You know what I'm saying? Because I give them some questions that I'm going to ask them. All right. So I don't want to like throw them curveballs or give them something they're not prepared for. So if you submit a question to me during a week that you want me to ask them, I'll put it in, I'll put it in and I'll give you credit for it. So I'll do it that way. That way, I'll be prepared. They'll be prepared, because I don't want to be like, I don't want to blindside nobody. I don't want to be like, okay, these are the questions I was going to ask you. And then all of a sudden I'm started talking about Alvin Kamara contract or something like that. So if you have a question, make sure you submit it to me. State of the Saints podcast on Facebook. Inbox me. TJ Jones _ on Instagram. TJAY Jones _ on Instagram. So hit me up, man, if you got the questions, and I'll try to put it in. Josh and Jesus says you're gonna hook up a live for my birthday tomorrow. I can, I can do that, man. I can make that happen. I don't see no reason why I shouldn't, man. I should be able to do it live tomorrow. So I'll make something happen for you, Josh. Just because it's your birthday, man, I'll do a little something. Ronald said, congratulations, TJ, on your up-and-coming wedding ceremony, man. I appreciate that, man. I'm really excited about it, man. My girl really excited about it. And hopefully, man, no tropical storm or anything like that come around here. They got a storm out there in the Atlantic that's moving. So hopefully it won't, throw no monkey wrench in our plans. But thank you very much, man. I'm from the Berg. Oh, you from Hattiesburg? Man, shouts out to you, man. I don't know if you Hattiesburg, Vicksburg, whatever burg you know what I'm saying, you from, man. I know there's Hattiesburg and there's Vicksburg. My mom stays in Vicksburg, Mississippi. And I remember always going to Hattiesburg, man, going to Q Delta weekend when I was in college. Some of y'all probably know what I'm talking about. What do you think about AB getting a 8-game suspension? What team do you think he'll sign with? Terrell, that's a good question. I'm glad you brought that up. If I was the Saints, I would actually call up AB. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll call him up. I think on Sean Payton was like, I'm kicking the tires on this guy. Like, well, you see what type of tires it is, man. So I wouldn't put it past him, man. I would not put it past Sean Payton to reach out to Antonio Brown. And you know what I'm saying? Because it's not like the Saints can't it's not like the Saints can't get through 8 weeks without Antonio Brown. I can't believe I'm saying this. I can't believe I'm saying this, but you need all hands on deck, man. Like Teron Armstead said, man, it's Super Bowl or bust. So I call him up. I call him up, man. Sometimes you got to make a deal with the devil. You know what I'm saying? I guess it's not my favorite, pick, or it wouldn't be my first choice, but I definitely will call him up. I mean, sometimes you got to put things to the side if you want to be successful. So, I mean, I would. But if it's not the Saints, I think he'll probably end up in Baltimore or something like that. I heard Lamar Jackson lobbying for him. I can't see him in Tampa. I can't see that happening. And I also can see him in San Francisco. I can see him playing for the 49ers. There's a huge void for a number one receiver with them as well. I mean, Deebo Samuels is a good wide receiver, but I don't know if he's a number one guy. Not yet, at least. My bad, TJ. I meant to say we need another outside corner. Yeah, I kind of understood what you were saying, Joe. Yeah, we do, man. We need another one. We definitely need another one. We need some more depth at that position. Donovan, thank you very much for the $4.99. He says, do you think we need depth at corner? Logan Ryan would be nice. Yeah, Logan Ryan would be nice, Donovan, but that's a little bit too rich for the Saints' blood. And plus, he's looking for a long-term deal, and he deserves it, man. Logan Ryan deserves a long-term deal. He deserves to get his money. And I just think that with Ramczyk needing to get signed and Lattimore needing to get signed and Kamara needing to get signed and you need Marcus Williams to be signed, I honestly don't believe that the Saints have room for him. But if he was to come on a 1-year deal, why not? If the Saints can afford him. But wouldn't be my first choice. And I don't really feel like Logan Ryan really has time to just be a football mercenary, if you will, signing 1-2-year deals with teams. He wants his money, and I don't blame him. Casual says we could use Everson or Jadeveon, but do you think we'll be all right without both? Yeah, we'll be good without both, Casual, if Marcus Davenport and Sheldon Rankin stay healthy. See, that is the key. Those are the key pieces for the New Orleans Saints' success. The Saints have a really good defensive line, folks. I don't want anybody to think that they don't. I mean, you also got to add in Trey Hendrickson. These guys are really good, man, when they are healthy. When they are healthy, they're one of the best defensive units in the league. But when guys keep on going down and they're not durable and you can't count on them and they're not available, I mean, that's the reason why we're having these conversations. If these guys can stay healthy over the course of a 16-game season, we won't even be talking about Everson Griffin, or we wouldn't be talking about Jadeveon Clowney. The only reason why we're talking about these guys right now is very, very simple, folks. It's because these guys are not reliable. Not reliable on the field when they're there, they're reliable, but I'm talking about being injured, being hurt all the time. Like, you got to be able to play. You got to be able to be on the field for your teammates, and you got to contribute. So if these guys can stay healthy, I don't think we'll be having these conversations, because both of these guys I named, Davenport and Rankins, and you add in Trey Hendrickson, all of these guys can be key components to the Saints' success. And with these guys as a collective unit, the Saints can be a top 10 defense. I really believe that. Phoebe says Buccaneers, let's see, singing running back. The guy 32 years old. I don't know about that, but Buccaneers got a really good offense. They need to sing something on that defense. Well, I feel like this. They have a very young defense, and the defense they had last season wasn't that bad. I think they're only going to get better now that these guys have experience. I think the defense is probably going to be the bright spot of the team at the beginning of the season, because these guys have been together all this time. So I still feel like they got a lot of work to do. They have chemistry issues they're going to have to work on. TJ, keep doing what you do. Who that? Thank you, Greg. I appreciate that. Kent says, who you think are our linebackers in the final roster? Well, I feel like, of course, Demario Davis, Zach Bond, Kiko Alonso, Alex Anzalone, and Caden Ellis. You know what I'm saying? And also, like, on special teams, you got Craig Robinson and probably going to be Nigel Bradham. You know what I'm saying? I feel like he's going to be on the team as well, but on special teams. But those are the guys I feel like the starters are going to be Alonso, Davis, Anzalone, and Bond. Those are going to be the guys. PJ Williams needs to be moved off the Saints. He is a straight up liability. I agree with that. He is a liability, but I mean, inevitable. He's on the team, so I mean, we might as well just deal with it. It's not like we can like and wish him away. You know what I'm saying? Like he's here, so he's here for another year. The defensive coordinator Dennis Allen likes him. Obviously, the Saints like him, so here he is. So hopefully, he doesn't make many mistakes. Mike says, "What's your thoughts on Zach Bond?" I think Zach Bond is a very good young linebacker. According to Pro Football Focus, he was the highest ranked linebacker in the draft, higher than Patrick Queen, higher than Murray. So that tells me right there that he has a lot of great skills. He's a fast linebacker. He's smart. He's instinctive. He's not one of those guys that, you know what I'm saying, that just going to wow you and has like crazy freakish speed or something like that at the linebacker position. But he's a smart guy, and he's a short tackler, and he's a guy that you can count on in blitz packages. So probably going to take him some time for him to develop. I mean, I think that, this COVID-19 stuff is really stunned his growth. I mean, it's going to take him some time in order for him to transition. But when he does, I think he's going to be a solid linebacker for the New Orleans Saints, and I think we're going to have a lot of respect for him going forward. PJ trash, period. Well, that's a strong statement. I don't know, man. I think y'all know how I feel about PJ Williams. Wouldn't have signed him back, but it is what it is. Jerry, what's going on, man? Shouts out to Jerry. Jerry says, I think they will definitely sign Kamara, but will they make him one of the highest paid backs? Yes, he is explosive, and yes, he does catch the ball out of the backfield. Great, but he's not someone that really gets a lot of yards rushing. But Jerry, that's a good statement, and I respect it. I respect that. But Jerry, let's go back and think about this, man. How many New Orleans Saints running backs have you seen in the past consistently get 100 yards? I mean, even Mark Ingram. Mark Ingram didn't consistently get 100 yards. Pierre Thomas didn't consistently get 100 yards. You have to go back to like Deuce McAllister that you can pick out a running back that consistently got 100 yards. The Saints don't use their running backs that way. Okay, it's a reason why when we see a guy that's a running back for the Saints get 100 yards, we in shock. You know what I'm saying? Because it rarely happens. Alvin Kamara can get 100 yards if he was asked to be that type of running back. He's not asked to be that type of running back. He's asked to catch the ball out of the backfield, and he's asked to run between the tackles. But you have to look at the amount of touches that he get. It's a balance between him catching out of the backfield and him running in between the tackles. And if you, let's just say, if they tell you to have 20 touches, 10 of them are passes, 10 of them are rushes. Well, if you're running a ball 10 times, and you averaging what, 5.4 yards a carry, so about 54 yards, if I'm not mistaken. I'm like, okay, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, what do you expect for him to do? But if he had 20 rushes or something like that, I'm pretty sure he'll have over 100 yards. But that's not the way the Saints use their running back. So it's not his fault, so you can't blame him for that. Unless we playing Madden on rookie here, he's not going to carry the ball and automatically he's going to break off a 20 or 30-yard run. So I don't think we need to say, that's his fault. Like, that's not his fault right there. It's not, so I don't think that you need to hold him responsible for the fact that if you have like 10 or 12 rushes. I mean, let's even look at the playoffs, right? How many rushes did he have? He had 12, I think, if I'm not mistaken. 12 rushes in the playoffs? I mean, what you going to do with that? So I don't think that should be the deciding factor of him getting his money, because I feel like if he was asked to be that type of running back, he'll have 100 yards more times than not. I think Alvin Gentry is a joke. I know this is a Saints podcast, but it just burns me up how Zion been off for 4 months and we still have to load manage. TJ, I don't get it. Iceman, you're absolutely right, man. I don't think Alvin Gentry is the answer. I think that Alvin Gentry needs to be fired. I don't think that the Pelicans are going to live up to their true potential as long as Alvin Gentry is their coach. I mean, that's just me. I'm not a real big follower of basketball, but I know trash coaches when I see one. And he's not that good. You know what I'm saying? He's not that good of a coach. And I don't think that it's the right decision. And I do feel like they be babying Zion a little bit too much, man. I really do believe that. I think they need to go ahead and let that man loose. You know what I'm saying? If he end up getting injured, man, that's just a part of the game. But y'all can't just be sitting up here, just putting this man out there for 15 minutes and expecting this guy to do something, man. I just feel like just let him go. I mean, that's what you got to do. Man, they're not going to win anything if they constantly use him like that. Man, Jenkins was a great pickup. Yeah, I agree with that. He was a good pickup. No doubt about that. I think he's a leader. I think that he's going to help the secondary. I think he's going to help Marcus Williams. And I think that I see a lot of Marcus Williams in, a lot of Malcolm Jenkins and Marcus Williams. So I think it's going to be a plus for his career. Let me see. What you think about the defensive leader, Demario Davis, Cam Jordan, Janoris Jenkins, Malcolm Jenkins, Malcolm Brown, and new guy Nigel Bradham. Man, you load it out there. Man, thank you very much, Donald. What I think about all those guys, well, Demario Davis, I feel like one of the best linebackers the Saints ever had. I mean, of course, we had the Dome Patrol, but he's starting to move up the ranks, being one of the best linebackers, the Saints ever had. He definitely one of the best free agent pickups the Saints ever had. Cam Jordan, he is a leader. I mean, he's a guy that you can count on to be on the field, never missed a game in his entire NFL career. So that's a plus. And he's starting to build up his Hall of Fame resume. Janoris Jenkins, I think that was a good move for the New Orleans Saints. I think he likes playing for the Saints. I think he likes being a part of a winning culture. This is probably the first time in his career he actually been on a team where he feels like if he plays well, he can be a champion. So I think he's really good. Malcolm Jenkins, I'm glad that he came back to the New Orleans Saints. He's a leader in his own right, not just on the field, but off the field as well. Malcolm Brown, I'm very happy that the Saints picked him up. I was a little concerned about Malcolm Brown last season because I was like, man, this guy got 2 Super Bowl rings. Will he just phone it in and just be about his money? But he proved me wrong because he played really well last season. And Nigel Bradham, I think he can make the team if he goes out and he has a strong training camp. I think he'll make it mostly because of special teams play. We need a TJ and Big Q show. Yeah, man. I was actually on Big Q a couple weeks ago, man. Shouts out to Big Q. I was on the show, man. I had a really good time. I enjoyed it. Really enjoyed being on the show. That was fun right there. Let's see. Iceman T said, I'm over Dennis Allen. He has way too much star power on defense to call such vanilla play calling. He is Jason Garrett of the defense. Well, I've seen worse, Iceman T. I hate to say it, but we had worse. And Dennis Allen, even though he's not the best defensive coordinator in football, I think we all can agree to that. But he does have a level of organization that some of the defensive coordinators of New Orleans Saints did not have. When they had Rob Ryan, they always had 12 men on the field. They were undisciplined. It was a divided locker room. Guys weren't where they needed to be. With Dennis Allen, there's a little bit more organization. There's a little bit more swag, a little bit more confidence. So even though he's not the best defensive coordinator, and yeah, he does get exposed when he goes up against elite offensive coordinators, still, I think that he better than what they had in the past. So, and if he doesn't do a good job this season, maybe you need to reevaluate it, but I don't know how many opportunities the Saints are going to get before, other teams start to rise up, no pun intended. And, so many opportunities the Saints are going to get before other teams start to get better. And his sugar cone defense, Vanilla Allen. Man, y'all boys ain't sparing no punches on Dennis Allen. Jesus. He not the best, but I've seen worse. I think we all can agree. Iceman said, I still don't understand why we don't promote Mike Nolan to defensive coordinator to get rid of Allen, man. What is Sean doing up there? Well, I think it had a lot to do with the fact that Dennis Allen is his guy. Dennis Allen is has been with the New Orleans Saints off and on for the past 15 years. So probably the reason why, Sean Payton likes his guys. TJ, ESPN broadcast job or Saints Super Bowl? Man, you said TJ, ESPN broadcast job or Saints Super Bowl? Are you saying what would I rather have? Could I, would I want to work for ESPN? Yeah. Is it my dream? No. My dream is to work for the New Orleans Saints. If I can be a broadcaster after games or something like that with the New Orleans Saints, I would love that, but I would take Saints Super Bowl. I would take the Saints Super Bowl working for ESPN, to be honest with you. I like ESPN. If they call me, I answer the phone, but it's not my dream, Allen is Peyton's boy. That's why. Yep. Listen to the interviews. They both sound alike. Yep. Same terminology and everything. Yeah, all of them sound the same. When you've been around a guy that long, of course you're gonna sound just like him. Jared says, yeah, they really need help at corner because if Lattimore and Jack Rabbit Jenkins go down for a long period of time, we're in trouble. I agree. And that's why we need to get some depth out there, But if they don't, then we're going to be dealing with the same issues. The Saints need to remember to have fun in the playoffs just like they do in the regular season. Super Bowl or bust. Who that? It's Super Bowl or bust every year. And, I just think that they need to stop going out there thinking that they just going to win a playoff game. You know what I'm saying? Like teams just going to bow down, roll over for them, just because they play in a Superdome. Like nobody cares. You know what I'm saying? Like I think they just think that just because they play in a Superdome, they're invincible. I think they buying into what the media be selling them. Man, you got to play. Like these teams want to beat you. Like just like you think that you're going to win, those teams come into the Superdome believing they're going to win. And I think that's the big issue. I think they went 13-3. I think they underestimated Kirk Cousins and the Minnesota Vikings, and they got shocked. You know what I'm saying? Like they got shocked. They got whooped. You know what I'm saying? Like Kirk Cousins went out there and beat them. So they got to stop. They got to stop looking past competition. That's the main issue. Stop looking past competition and stop just thinking, oh, because you in a Superdome and it's loud and it's rocking, like you're gonna automatically win games. Nah, man. Look, it's almost like Mike Tyson. You know, Mike Tyson in the 80s, right? Everybody was scared of Mike Tyson. Guys get in the ring. You know what I'm saying? Like they're intimidated. It's like they see him walking out, no music, black tights, black black trunks, black boots, socks coming out there, you know what I'm saying, with no robe on or nothing like that, just a little ripped towel across his shoulders and stuff like that. And I mean, you had that intimidating factor. But then he met somebody in Japan named Buster Douglas who wasn't afraid of him, you know what I'm saying? And he beat him, you know what I'm saying? So you can't just go off intimidation alone. Eventually you're going to get exposed. So I mean, it happened with Tyson, happened with Deontay Wilder a couple of months back. So you can't just go and just think that people just going to be afraid of you just because they're playing in a Superdome. You got to play better. And you got to play better than a team that you're going up against. And I would love to just see the Saints like dominate like some of these other top teams do in the playoffs. They always got to make it bigger than what it got to be. Don't do that. Go out there and whoop their behind. Period. Who that says Breeze Brady week 1? Let's go. We need a hype video for that. Who that? Yeah, man. I mean, it's gonna be an exciting game. Hopefully everybody is there. I hope they don't have no COVID-19 issues. According to sources, there are no players on the Saints team that have COVID-19, so that's good. So hopefully we can keep it that way. Jared says, yeah, I'm not blaming him, but what I'm saying is that since he isn't really asked to be that kind of back, do you think he can get like Zeke type money? Nah, I don't think he's gonna get Zeke type money. I don't think he's gonna get more money like that. But I mean, they'll give him a fair share of money, man. I feel like they're gonna make it fair for him. I think Janoris has a new fire in him. That wild card game was only his second playoff game in a long career. Now he isn't wasting his career anyway in New York. Yeah, that's why I said, Ray, this is the first time in his career he feels like he's on a team that can actually win it all. He went when he played for St. Louis and he had those good years, man. St. Louis was trash. And then he goes to the Giants, man, and they were even more trash. So like he never really had opportunity to play on a team that was a playoff contender that can actually, win it all. So coming to the Saints was a change, and all he knows that all he got to do is do his job. I can win. Please, I definitely would try to do my best to make it happen. Donald, thank you very much for the $2. He says, who would you take, Dennis Allen or Greg Williams? I'll roll with Greg Williams. I'll roll with Greg Williams. Greg Williams is a hell of a defensive coordinator. Now, I know about that whole Bounty Gate situation. I know about that. But one thing you can't say about him, that guy can coach the hell out of some defense. That he can do. Who that 504 boy says, I think they ain't moved PJ to safety because they already deep there, but they don't want any other team to take him and use him as safety either. I doubt that, I don't think that PJ Williams is one of those players that you hiding in the back of your roster because a team might pick him up. He one of them guys that you put in the front so everybody can see him and be like, man, take him, please. Here you go. He definitely not one of those guys, man. Man, please. Giving PJ way too much credit. He ain't no world beater now. I think that it will save his career and he'll be a serviceable player. I ain't saying he's gonna be, out here looking like Ed Reed or Troy Polamalu, and then like he just play better at that position. Yeah, TJ, I agree with you. Gentry needs to go. He should have never been hired. Pelicans should have won the game last night. How do you not have your future star and face of the franchise in the game at the end of the game with the game so close and the game on the line? As the head coach, you want your best players on the court. So even if Zion was on a minute restriction, Gentry should have saved some of those minutes for the end of the game and not used him all early. Jerry, let me say this, man. Okay, this is what's frustrating to me. Aren't the Pelicans trying to make the playoffs? I'm just saying, aren't they trying to make the playoffs? If you're trying to make the playoffs, why in the hell are you not trying to play Zion? So, I mean, what the Pelicans are telling me, they okay. Like, okay, man, the season over. You know what I'm saying? Let's go out here and try to get in the lottery somewhere. That's what it seemed like they saying to me. That's what it feels like, because I don't know, man. It don't seem like they really care about the playoffs. Maybe they feel like they need a couple more pieces, but Alvin Gentry definitely ain't the answer. He's not. It seems like every time someone in our division makes a move, we make a move. Well, that's what football is all about, man. You got to be able to counteract your opponent. You know what I'm saying? You got to be able to compensate for the additions that your opponent make. So, I mean, if you don't, then you're gonna be in the basement every year. Don't go to ESPN. They don't want real people. Like, why they keep it 100? They want bum players that like statistics but don't want to keep it real. Well, look, I'm not gonna disrespect ESPN or anything like that, man. It just, I don't know, man. Like, I just feel like now it's just a bunch of Stephen A. Smiths, like you got people like Marcus Spears, and you got people like Kendrick Perkins and stuff. Like it seemed like to me that they trying to bite off like Undisputed and stuff. Like, it seemed like they see Shannon Sharp. Shannon Sharp is the loud, funny country, country Twain type guy, and everybody like that. Now all of a sudden you got Kendrick Perkins, who got a country accent. Marcus Spears, who got a country accent that's loud and and abrasive and stuff like that. And then you got Stephen A. Smith. It seemed like everybody trying to be Stephen A. Smith. Everybody loud and yelling, want to scream and be a caricature and have their little shtick and catchphrases and whatnot. But I don't know, man. I guess it's just entertainment, I guess, but I don't know, man. It's just a certain level of realism that I need. I can't be fake. I understand that television is about entertainment. I understand that this show is about entertainment, but I can't just be sitting up here just being, just cracking jokes or just doing stuff that don't feel right to me. I just can't do that. Like, I try to be as real and as authentic as I possibly can. So, I feel like people need to do that, but everybody seems to want to be, loud and want to be the center of attention. But that's just not me, man. That's not my thing. Let's see. Why a real OG dog? ESPN no good. I wish we can sign Delvin Bro back. You the only one on that one, Ronald. You the only one on that one. Fox Sports neither. They worse. Well, I mean, look, man, guys gotta work, I guess, but I don't know, man. I don't like the show business aspect of sports talk, Like, I feel like you should be entertaining, but I don't feel like you need to lose yourself in the process. Delvin Bro was a good corner on a bad team. Great guy, though. I'm gonna have to agree to disagree. He had one good year back in 2015, but I mean, 2016, man, he was struggling. 2017, he was hurt. Couldn't stay on the field, So I don't know. I don't know. I ain't see that. I see one good year. Let me see. I done become like you, TJ, because I already know how great of a football team we are. So I know we are going to win games and slap high fives along the way. But we got to win playoff games. Yep. And convincingly. Yeah, we do. I'm all about high fives and handshakes and stuff and dancing in the locker room. But, man, you got to win when it counts. The Saints need to sign LeBron and put him in the secondary. Did they see him D up both Kawhi and Paul George last night? Yeah, man, a lot of people saw that. He did a good job, though. I mean, he struggled in front of the field. I think he only had like 16 points. And he had 5 turnovers, too, man. He didn't play good, but he played good when it counted. So, yeah. Let me see. LeBron James is an all-time great player, though. Yeah, he is. He is. Pick one to succeed Breeze after this season. Jameis, Taysom, a free agent, Dak Prescott, or wait 1 year and make a play for Aaron Rodgers when he hits free agency, or none of these. I would probably see what Jameis and Taysom can do. I have a quarterback battle with them. I wouldn't try to go after Dak Prescott because he'll be asking for way too much money. I feel like by signing Taysom or signing Jameis, you actually have opportunity to bring other people in that can benefit the team. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to worry about Drew Brees' high salary being on the books, and you can go out here and get yourself some free agents that can come in and maybe bulk up the defense, make them a little bit more elite, or add an extra player on offense that'll make them more elite. So that's what I would do. It's crazy how Zion Williamson just played 15 minutes. Yeah, they crazy for that. Shannon Sharp is funny as hell, especially when the Cowboys lose. Yeah, Derek, he is, man. And that's the thing, Shannon Sharp isn't being fake or phony, you know what I'm saying? But it just seemed like ESPN just saw how successful that was. Maybe they saw the memes or people always talking about him on social media, and they just went out here and just got, some watered down version of Shannon Sharp and Marcus Spears and Kendrick Perkins. But it just don't seem authentic to me at all. ESPN really just talk about the same thing: Cowboys, LeBron, and sometimes Tom Brady. Yeah, I mean, rinse and repeat. And that's another thing that I don't really care for. There are so many other teams out here that's worth talking about. And their fan base watch ESPN. So why not? And I don't buy into that whole that's what people want to hear. We live in a world today, folks, that people want to hear what the media tells them. I mean, if you constantly put something on TV, eventually, there's going to be two things that happen. People are going to watch to see that person, or they're going to, they're going to watch just to see, something else. But for the most part, if you constantly just feed that person or shove the person down the throat, eventually people are just going to catch on and be like, okay, man, man, this person needs to get out of my face, And if you're talking about like a team or something like that, two things going to happen. You want to see that person, you want to see that team lose, or you're going to become a fan of that team. And it has a lot to do with the influence of the media. We have to work out our running game, not two ways about it. If we don't improve on a very strong running game, we could be in trouble again. Yeah, that's true, man. We need to run the football. That's what it's all about. The Saints, if they're going to get where they need to be, if they want to be a solid offense, they want to be balanced, they want to control the time of possession, they're going to have to run the football. And Sean Payton got to be a little bit more patient with that. We're going to read a few more, and then we're going to get up out of here. Casual Deck says, wasn't Delvin Breaux misdiagnosed by the medical staff of the Saints, and they got fired, and they fired him after? Yeah, man, and they fired the doctor. They fired the doctor too. But, Delvin Breaux didn't do himself no favors, though, man. I just think that Delvin Breaux had one good season back in 2015, 2016. Pass interference calls all over the place. And in 2017, he was injured. So best ability is availability. And I think the Saints would have used him and utilized him if he would have been healthy and stayed on the field. That's just my honest opinion. But I want to say thank you all for checking out the State of the Saints podcast. Thank you very much for being a part of the live. And be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel, youtube.com, search The State of the Saints podcast, facebook.com, search The State of the Saints podcast, and the audio version is available on iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, and also you can access the State of the Saints podcast by using Alexa. All you have to do is say, hey, Alexa, play the State of the Saints podcast, and you'll get the most recent episode. And for those that didn't check it out earlier, please check out the interview that I conducted with John DeShazer of NewOrleansSaints.com. Really good interview, and I really enjoyed it. So if you have not, check it out. It was a really good and informative interview. Asked them several questions about the black and gold, and I know you will enjoy it. You all have a great night or a great morning, no matter where you are, wherever you may be. I really do appreciate it. And thank you all for helping to contribute to the success of the State of the Saints podcast. And we're only getting started, man. It's only going to get better from here. So thank you all very much. Till next time, all I got to say is, who dat?